Hey, welcome to Storytellers Tales. Tonight we're going to be introducing, a new DM. I am Pat, also known as Storyweaver. I run, I'm the team lead here at Storytellers, and I also am the DM for Grand Quest and a few other games coming forward. But enough about me. You hear me all the time. This here, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yep, I am Ryan, or I go by Hulk. Um, I have been DMing for probably 4 years, so fairly new to it. But yeah, I'm here to run a new game on the channel.
Awesome. So what is that game that you're going to be running?
It's going to be Out of the Abyss. It's going to
Ooh.
be very Underdark heavy, little modern twist. The world is going to be essentially a mixture of the lore between what's already existing in Faerun and Critical Role, um, kind of smashed together.
Nice.
And for the most part, it's just going to be the world itself will be one that we kind of create as we go along. The Underdark is very wide open, minus a few of the stable cities. So there is no telling what the tumbles can lead.
Ooh, yeah. I'm definitely gonna be a player in there. I'm gonna be playing Ivan von Critch. We'll get to what he is, but um, do we have any other official players?
We do. We have a total of 6 confirmed, and one will be kind of an in and out NPC.
Nice.
We have officially confirmed a Kobold Artificer,
Awesome. That's gonna be interesting.
a believe Fairy Bard. I believe one of the players is playing a Goblin, or or a Rat Folk. I can't remember. Kind of a homebrew
Yeah,
flavoring of that.
a reflavor, kind of like what I'm
Yeah.
doing.
And you are going to be a flavored drow
Yeah,
uh, cleric.
fallen. Yeah, cleric. I'm gonna be a fallen Azamar reflavored as a drow, but I'm gonna be doing a cleric druid combo throughout the game. You know, it's going to be interesting, that's for sure. I mean, this will be the first time I've actually gotten to play Out of the Abyss. I've read, stories about it. I've watched small clips about it, but it'll be the first time I actually get to play in it. Also, one of the very few times I get to play. So thank you
Yeah,
for that.
yeah, of course.
um,
I've
yeah.
actually ran through the campaign once before, kind of with a circle of friends locally.
Mm.
Um, and it had a very good turnout. We actually extended past the end of the book.
Oh wow.
Home brewed basically from the end to another point. And it went really well. We had a lot of fun with it, made a lot of memories, and um, we have some returning players from that local game, so the story will change up a little bit as far as what happens to keep it fresh for those players. But they're playing characters that are very entertaining, and I'm hoping that people who listen will enjoy.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, I've heard that like Out of the Abyss is kind of a darker, has some things that it touches on.
Yes.
Any ideas of how like you plan to handle those things as a DM? I mean, no
Yeah.
spoilers, of course, but I mean.
No. No. So obviously we are in the realm of drought.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of very touchy subjects when it comes to the drought, and we want to keep everybody in mind when we're running this game. So there may be a trigger warning here and there just to make sure people are aware of what's going on. But it's not something we want to highlight. It's something that we want to kind of touch on and say, we understand that this is not okay,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of drive the players to saying the same thing, saying, well, they are doing this, but we can make a stop to it. Or there's a way that we can circumnavigate the
Yeah.
atrocities that some of the drow have. Now, we will be modernizing a good amount of it, trying to make it less touchy.
Yeah. Sensitive.
Yes.
Yes, sensitive.
But overall, the story is not going to arc around that. It will arc around players and what they decide to do with the Underdark. And the reason that I latched on to this campaign so much was the concept of not even monster creatures or monster playable characters. Well, they have stories too. They're individuals as well, and
I like that.
we don't really get a chance to, in D&D, a lot of it is, hey, you get a quest, you go kill goblins, this, that, and the other. Well, what if you go to kill those goblins, but you end up talking to them and adding them to your party? What happens then?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we wanted to do. We had a lot of great moments in the home game, so I kind of wanted to continue that and get a new perspective on it with you guys.
And I'm definitely a player who likes to talk his way out of things a lot of the time. And going back to that drow thing with, like, hey, we're going to be sensitive, the players can even choose to go against it. I, for one, am playing a drow who very much wants to stop all of that. Like, yeah, that is like my character's whole goal mission is to put an end to that. So that'll be interesting.
It will be touched on,
Mm-hmm.
and of course we will put up, hey, this could be something that people find sensitive and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it will be, we understand that is a possibility, and we want to make sure that everybody feels comfortable and welcome in listening to this.
Oh yeah, that's the biggest thing with D&D is we always have to make every community. It's the biggest role is make sure everybody feels comfortable. So that's carrying that forward. Yep, that's kind of what our whole D&D server is about. That we all met on is just everybody has to have some level of comfortability.
Yeah.
So going from
understanding boundaries too.
100% boundaries. Boundaries are big. Don't cross that line if somebody tells you not to.
Correct.
So moving on from the darker note and the sensitive warning and the confirming that we're going to be gentle with this game. Let's move on to something a little bit more upbeat. Like what any interesting mechanics that you're going to be bringing in?
Yeah, so there are a few things that I personally enjoy. I'm more of when it comes to DMing, I much rather would see the players have fun. Or if they have some kind of wacky, crazy idea that the rules may not necessarily allow.
Mm-hmm.
If it's something that can be explained and reasoned, then yeah, let's go for it. Let's roll for it. Let's see what happens.
Awesome. I love hearing that.
There are certain spells that, of course, one of my favorite things to do is to flavor things as whatever you want. So, say for instance, your character is based off of the tundra, and you are very much an cold-natured creature.
Yeah.
Well, you're a wizard, 3rd level, you get fireball. Well, it doesn't really make sense for you to have a fire spell like that when you're an ice mage.
Oh, I see what you're getting at.
One of my favorite things to do is to say, okay, how can we make this work? So instead of rolling 8d6 fire damage and catching everything on fire, you roll 8d6 cold damage and certain things turn to ice.
Yeah.
Or 8d6 poison damage and things start to
get sick. And yeah. Oof, that's awesome. Honestly, that I see now, because you were telling one of the other players that they could play a blood mage and everything. I see. Mm-hmm. Awesome. I like that. I mean, that really helps me down the road, because like my character, he's gonna have, being an Azamar, his necrotic shroud and everything, but like some of his spells just are a little bit twisted, know. So that'd be really cool.
And there are certain things that are malleable in D&D.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I love about it so much, is it can be you can turn, something that is set in stone
Mm-hmm.
and create it to be something that is your own. And there's no reason that a warlock should be rolling 2d12 on Eldritch Blast damage, but if a pact is made
Mm-hmm.
that gives you that damage in exchange for something else, well,
Yeah.
does the profit outweigh what the cost is?
Yeah.
So
Being able to do something like that's the thing is we have a player. You know her as Myth, but a lot of the viewers will know her as Kane, the Dampier Gloomstalker Ranger in Grand Quest. But she prefers to play like solely warlocks or paladin warlocks. I mean, but I love just messing with warlocks. Warlocks have like the most capability. Maybe your patron shows up and offers you some extra stuff, or maybe a competing like fiend or archfey or whatever comes in and goes, hey, if you decide, I like how powerful you are, if you follow me instead, so that's cool. I like hearing other DMs that do that.
And ultimately, D&D is a game of creation,
mm-hmm.
and if something that the player comes to me with and says, hey, I know this isn't really something that we can do, normally, is there a way we can make this work? Yeah, absolutely. Let's figure it out.
Yeah. Yep, I like that. I mean, that really, I don't know. I don't get to playing too many games, but I'm super excited about playing in this game. Like, really excited. I just hope you're ready for the amount of talking I do. I RP so heavy. Like, earlier we were joking about it, but I have, just because of the amount of talking I do, and the amount of RP I do, and I get into it emotionally and everything, I have caused a couple of contentions. So I'm going to do my very best to be on my best behavior. So I'm playing a character that's way more supportive, little bit dark, but way more supportive. So hopefully it helps out. But
everybody is welcome to explore their own backstory.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's welcome to explore their own story.
Yeah.
And even if there are players that aren't necessarily talkative, well, we want to make sure that they are. And,
for sure.
Kind of, yes, there are players that can talk a lot, but why don't we also include this other person that may not feel as comfortable talking?
Yeah.
So that's something that I also enjoy doing as well, is making sure everyone feels included as far as the story goes. Because at the end of the day, the story is, I am just a guide. It is you all that is telling the story.
I synchronize with that feeling 100%. Honestly, it's the way a DM should be. If you're too much involved in your player's story, you should take a step back and let your players build that story, especially if it's about their
100%.
backstory. Like, if it's about their backstory, let them kind of guide the way on the storytelling, and you just follow up and make their thoughts a reality. So, let's see here. Let's move on. Adding to the extra things, are there any like actual extensions of game mechanics? Like, I think you were telling me something about a monster part craft thing. Is that going to be in this?
It will.
Awesome.
There will be. I found it on DM's Guild. I can, when we put the video out, I can put a link to it.
100%, yeah.
But it is basically like, say for instance, you walk up to a group of, for Out of the Abyss purposes, a group of deep gnomes, and you guys do, fight them and beat them. Well, what are they going to have on them versus what will Mind Flayer have on it?
Yeah, or like an Umber Hulk. Like, dude, I can't even imagine making armor out of an Umber Hulk hide.
Exactly. The cool thing about it is it gives another way for these players and for everyone to use their imagination and say, okay, well, if we have this amount of teeth, can we craft it into just like a serrated blade or something like that?
Oh my gosh. We have an artificer. friggin' Warhammer chainsaw blade. Made out of like teeth.
There are,
would be cool.
and another cool thing about Out of the Abyss with
Mhm.
that too is the amount of NPCs that you don't see coming
Mm-hmm.
that change the story and make it personal.
Mm-hmm.
And even including, like, say for instance, the party was, harvesting these parts off this monster, and there's specific roles and stuff like that, and whether it's Arcana or it's nature or it's whatever it may be, the role is depending on what the background of the creature is. An NPC can walk up to that scene and say, "Oh, that's what we're doing." Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
maybe you understand the Underdark a little.
Oh, I didn't realize you were so engrossed in animal recycling. We recycle here. We're green. Well,
Yep.
that guy's green, but
We're responsible with our.
we're not just gonna leave these parts laying here. That's bad manners.
But there are some notable NPCs that I may even have a couple people voiced as far as some people on the server, or there's a couple NPCs that I've created and a couple like Garrett Barrett and
Oh yes, my creepy alchemist guy that tries to get everybody to take these random potions. Yeah.
You fall in love with that character.
I've never heard anybody say they've fallen in love with Garrett the Fair. I think that's the first time I've ever heard that.
More on the line of like you fall. Well,
I love him, but that's because I'm gonna be creepy.
but there will be some fun NPCs in this, and at the end of the day, yes, it is a dark campaign. But
doesn't mean it has to stay dark at all times. You gotta have
there
some
will be fun.
Yeah, especially with this group. Oh my goodness. We got. Oh, I don't want to give the roster exactly unless you're okay with it, but ooh man, we've got chaos. Okay, it's cats on crack. That's what it is. It's cats on crack. Like, oh, it's gonna be funny. But also, like, when those serious moments hit, this party's gonna hit it hard.
Yes.
So
a lot of the players are very RP based.
Oh yeah.
And understand that the storytelling aspect is extremely important. So, yeah, I'm extremely excited for our cast. I'm extremely excited for some of the things that are already in the works as far as backstories and little tidbits of information that y'all have given me. I'm ready to run wild with.
Awesome! I cannot wait. I love it when a DM will take something that I say, even like a moment in the game that I thought was just like just a snarky comment down the road, does something with it. Like, that's awesome, Let's see here. What else is on the dock? Anything you want to talk about exactly? Anything you want to say?
Well, forewarning, like I said earlier, I've only been DMing for 4 years, and I DM a lot differently than most do. I'm more lenient when it comes to things, and of course I'm going to make mistakes, as we all do, but it's like I said earlier, it is more about the story that we tell and the memories that we make in this campaign
100%
than it is about following the rules.
Oh yeah, rule number 0. Rule number 0. What the DM says goes. Rule number 1. Rules are the game of the mechanics of the game are just suggestions. Rule number 2, have fun.
Yeah.
And then it's just the three rules that matter the most, and it sounds like you got them all 3. So I think you're going to be an amazing DM. So, well, I mean, do you want to say anything else to wrap this up?
Well, yes, there will be demons involved, but I believe that there will be a plethora of well-crafted heroes as well.
Awesome. All right, everybody. make sure you're looking out for his Out of the Abyss game, because it's gonna be coming soon. I mean, we're starting to get ready for production here anytime, so see y'all then.
In the next few weeks or so with Session 0. And
yep, and that, yeah. So I hope you guys are excited for that game. Make sure that you like and subscribe, and if you really like what he's doing, I mean, let him know, comment. That's very, very important. Make sure he gets the gratification that he deserves. All right. I'll see you all next time.
Have a good one, y'all.